Now at 6, Joplin police released the identity of the suspect in a death investigation who died in a standoff last week. Plus, the tragic finding from a preliminary report on the death of a 2-year-old during a standoff in Baxter Springs. And Neosho police arrest a woman who they say killed someone while driving impaired.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A heartbreaking development today from the preliminary findings of the KBI report on last month's officer-involved shooting and standoff in Baxter Springs. This is KOAM News at 6. Those findings indicate the 2-year-old child in the home died from a shot fired by a responding officer. KOAM's Chris Warner has been following this story. He joins us live from the Joplin Police Department with the latest.
Now, the latest information from that KBI report describes what Joplin Police Chief Sloan Rowland calls a horrific situation. On March 26th, Eli Crawford barricaded himself inside a travel trailer with his 2-year-old daughter after shooting and killing the child's mother, Taylor Schutt. Crawford fired more than 90 rounds at responding officers during a nearly 2.5-hour standoff with police. The Joplin SWAT team was called in to assist, and a Joplin officer returned fire toward the home. The KBI's preliminary update today revealed that shot killed 2-year-old Cleslin Crawford. Now, JPD Chief Sloan Rowland issued a release discussing the situation and saying, quote, "This is a horrific outcome to what had already started as a very tragic incident. Our heartfelt condolences go out to the families involved in the surrounding community. We ask that you pray for the victims and everyone involved." Now, that officer is on paid administrative leave per department policy. Chief Rowland added that a separate internal investigation is ongoing. Now, the KBI also stated that they believe that Eli Crawford died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. KBI says its investigation is ongoing, and once it's concluded, their findings will be forwarded to the Cherokee County Attorney to determine if criminal charges will be filed. And we do want to remind you that at this point, the KBI's findings are still preliminary. Reporting live from the Joplin Police Department, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Difficult news for everyone, Chris. Thanks. Joplin police have released the identity of the suspect in a death investigation who died during a standoff, a separate standoff. Police say 44-year-old James Weiss Jr. of Joplin last week killed Donald Weimer. During that investigation, officers received a tip that Weiss was in a home on 2201 South Empire, but refused to come out. SWAT officers used chemical munitions, heard a gunshot, and then saw fire coming from the attic of the home. When the fire was under control, they found Weiss in the attic with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Authorities say an investigation is still underway. Let's check in with Nick Kelly for a first look at the weather.
We definitely had a lot of cloud cover today, Dal. Rain to start this morning out, but for much of the afternoon, we've been keeping it dry so far. But I'm starting to see signs of life showing up on the radar. A couple of showers that have been trying to get going unsuccessfully, though, between Lamar and Stockton Lake. But the echoes popping up in northeastern Oklahoma. That is a better surge of moisture that I think is the beginning of this evening's round of showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms, partly due to a front. The same front that came in last night is actually stalled out in our far southeastern counties. Not to mention we got another front that we'll have to keep an eye on the extended forecast to the northwest. As far as temperatures go, still not really that terrible, either near 60 or into the mid 60s for some. But the focus for this rest of this evening will be the increasing scattered showers, maybe a couple of storms, nothing severe or strong expected. But this is going to try to stick around as we get the Tuesday morning drive underway, down with most of us seeing lows back in the 50s. We'll see how long these rain chances will stick with us for the week ahead here in a bit.
See you then. Neosho, Missouri police have arrested a woman they say killed someone while driving under the influence. Authorities say on Saturday, Stormy Dean was driving on Baxter Street in Neosho when she crashed into another vehicle. The driver of that other vehicle was injured, and a passenger, 22-year-old Kira Lovett of Neosho, was killed. Officers say Dean was impaired at the time. Authorities have charged her with DWI, death of another. The Missouri Highway Patrol says there were 2 fatal crashes in Berry County, Missouri over the past few days. The first happened Friday on State Highway 39, about 2 miles from Madry. Officials say 59-year-old Kimberly Andrews of Fair Grove ran off the road and overturned She was pronounced dead at a Springfield hospital. Then on Saturday, 20-year-old Ricky Sanchez of Pea Ridge, Arkansas, was driving an ATV on Farm Road 2290 about 5 miles west of Seligman, Missouri. Authorities say he swerved to avoid a dog and the ATV overturned. Sanchez died at the scene. As the Joplin Police Department continues to face staffing shortages, a proposal is heading before the council tonight to try to fix that problem. The department has developed a recruitment incentive plan to attract experienced officers to join the force. That plan provides a $10,000 payment to officers from other agencies who sign on with the JPD. One of the requirements is those officers must commit to 2 years with the department. Officials with the JPD say they hope this helps current staff as well.
We're trying to get to full staff so that we can give them that relief, that we can get those shifts fully strengthened so that they can go out there, and the more officers you have, the quicker we can respond to calls, the less time that victim may have to spend waiting on an officer to respond.
The Joplin City Council meeting is going on right now, and we're going to have the results of that meeting for you tonight at 10. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. The Joplin Police Department is showing its support by working with residents to set up pinwheels in front of the department. Hundreds of pinwheels were placed today, each representing an allegation of child abuse made in Joplin last year.
My hope is that they see these pinwheels and just remember that child abuse does happen. I think unfortunately for a lot of people, we want to pretend that child abuse doesn't happen because it's such an ugly thing for us to think about, but that child abuse does happen. I hope they know that they can be that safe adult.
The pinwheels are blue because that's the symbolic color for Child Abuse Prevention Month. Voters in Missouri and Oklahoma tomorrow will decide local races and issues. They include a bond proposal for renovation and construction at Joplin's Memorial Hall. Also, school bond issues in many communities and races for area city offices and school boards. Of course, we're going to have the election results tomorrow night on KOAM News at 9 and 10 and throughout the evening on KOAMNewsNow.com. Coming up, why a bill in Kansas to ban trans athletes from women's sports is unlikely to become law. Plus, health authorities in Springfield are warning restaurants about scammers pretending to be inspectors. Kansas appears unlikely to join other states this year in banning transgender athletes from competing in girls' and women's school sports. That's partly because conservative state lawmakers want the ban to apply to elementary school students. The Republican-controlled legislature approved a proposed ban early Saturday with solid majorities in both chambers, but they don't have the 2/3 majority needed to override an almost certain veto from Democratic Governor Laura Kelly. She rejected a similar bill last year. Several dissident Republicans said having a ban apply as early as kindergarten is a problem. Health leaders in Springfield are warning businesses not to be fooled by a restaurant inspection scam. Madison Horner reports on imposters serving up fake information.
One of the establishments was the Springfield Family Restaurant. We know them very well. They reached out to us immediately, and they knew something was wrong, and we're happy that they let us know as soon as they did.
Springfield Greene County Health Department Program Coordinator Eric Markle says scam calls like this chip away at the rapport the department builds with its establishments.
We take a lot of pride in working with them, and when something like this comes in and damages that in any effect, it's concerning.
After being notified, staff sent out a reminder to restaurants to be certain of who they are speaking to. The scammers asked businesses about their previous inspections, which they didn't feel comfortable sharing. Markle says if the number they are calling from is unfamiliar, it's okay to ask for a first and last name. You can also call the department and ask to be transferred to them. It's also okay to ask inspectors on site to show a picture ID, but there are a couple things inspectors won't do.
We won't be asking for personal information. We won't be asking for favors of any sort, and our inspectors definitely will not be collecting any money.
The Springfield Greene County Health Department did get an advisory from the state about impersonations taking place in northwestern counties.
But this is our first indicator that has happened here locally.
Markle says they still aren't sure of the scam caller's motives, but encourages any other establishments who might receive these calls to contact their health department to verify who is calling. A little bit later, the Kansas Jayhawks are going to play tonight for a national championship. Yeah, maybe you've heard. We're going to hear from head coach Bill Self.
And after many of us enjoyed mainly a dry afternoon, rain chances are going to pick back up as we go into the rest of the night. Forecast next. Rain, we had a good deal of that last night into this morning. Then we spent much of the day on the dry side, but quite a bit of cloud cover to speak of. And in fact, we're still seeing a good deal of it from our Linder's Chevy Cadillac camera just on the southeast side of Joplin. Other than that, this is a dry view for now. Traffic moving along Interstate 44, having no problems getting out and about. But we definitely saw quite a bit of rain work on through late last night into this morning, and you can see how for much of the day, the vast majority of us kept things pretty dry. But the rain that we did see pick up late last night into this morning averaged just under half an inch, but you can see some heavier pockets pushing over half an inch, maybe a few spots close to an inch, especially in parts of northeast Oklahoma and maybe northern parts of McDonald County as well. In the short term, though, this view of the Skywatch Storm Tracker has been dry for much of the day, but partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies, plenty of that. But we've been watching a few showers trying to get going around Stockton Lake. But what really has my eye is this developing band of rain stretching from Bartlesville, south and west of Veneta, down to about Turley, Tulsa, and Stillwater. That's a good influx of moisture, and I really think this is the beginnings of our evening round of showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms. But for the vast majority of us, this is our view. Plenty of clouds, sure, but that is a dry look from the east side of Joplin. 63 degrees with an east wind at 7. Humidity not too bad, sitting at 52%. Even if you dealt with quite a bit of rain and cloud cover, we're still seeing our southern counties near 60, everybody else in the lower to middle 60s. So these numbers aren't too bad, and we're going to see them not drop off much throughout the course of the night as the cloud cover really thickens back up and the rain chances pick back up. Eventually we'll drop back into the lower 50s, maybe some mid to upper 40s north and west of Pittsburgh and Joplin. But we got rain chances on deck for us tonight, and severe weather actually getting going in parts of north central Texas because of the very same front that came in last night, stalled out right on top of the region. Then we got to deal with this cold front that's ready to roll on in as we go into tomorrow night and Wednesday, along with a couple of upper level waves that will aid in our continued rain chances. In the short term, though, what we're seeing developing out in northeastern Oklahoma is going to continue to develop, overtake a good portion of the area, resulting in scattered showers, a couple of storms. Nothing crazy though, not worried at all about anything strong or severe. And as we go into tomorrow morning, the morning drive, maybe a few showers trying to hold on, but I think once we get past the morning drive, we'll see eventually partly sunny skies. Couple that with a south wind, it's going to be another mild day. 53 in the morning, 65 by noon, and we'll top out around 72. Maybe a stray thunderstorm late in the afternoon, but as the second cold front comes on in, this is our next best shot for scattered showers and storms. Nothing strong or severe here, but these are rain chances that'll come on through Tuesday night and before they clear out by Wednesday morning. In terms of additional rain chances, in terms of amounts, a tenth to half of this for most, maybe a few spots pushing close to an inch. Then we got to deal with this slow-moving upper-level wave going into Thursday and towards the end of this week. It could scrape us with a few showers on Thursday, but you saw how that upper low pushes that jet way to the south of the region. That's going to take us from 72 tomorrow, 62 Wednesday, down to the lower to middle 50s for Thursday and Friday, Dow. And along with that, we got to watch Friday morning and Saturday morning with lows maybe as cold as 33. That could be a potentially frosty start for some of us.
And that is not what people want to hear if they've been putting some plants in the ground over the weekend.
Yeah, if those numbers hold steady, they got to be ready to cover them up and bring them in.
I guess so. Thanks, Nick. Hey, two winners of our And One appetizer bracket have been randomly chosen. They are 54-year-old Patrick from Pittsburgh, 55-year-old Stacy from Independence. Congratulations. You have a choice between a $25 gift card to Krabby's or Cheddar's. The winning appetizer in the tournament was chips and queso. Still ahead, we're going to hear from Kansas head coach Bill Self as the Jayhawks aim for a national championship tonight. And the Bill O'Dell baseball tournament gets started this afternoon in Carthage. Jacob Leonard joins us with that and more up next.
Well, tonight is the night for the Kansas Jayhawks. KU hits the floor against North Carolina this evening, aiming to bring home a national championship. Now, if Kansas is able to finish tonight, it'll be their first national championship since 2008. On the other side, Carolina trying for their 4th title in the last 16 years. Here's KU head coach Bill Self on what it would mean for his program to get back on top and win their first national title in 14 years.
We've had some really terrific seasons and some great teams that came up short. And I do think that when you have as many good teams as we've had, at most places winning one national championship would be quite an accomplishment. I think as many good teams as we've had, one's not enough. And so I don't think that I personally feel pressure that we have to win, but I do know that when you have a chance to coach at a place where you have an opportunity to be in the game most years, you need to take advantage of that more than we have.
Well, today is the opening day of the Bill O'Dell Baseball Tournament in Carthage. There are 2 games on the schedule tonight to begin pool play. Up first, the Carl Junction Bulldogs face the Nevada Tigers. Shane Diskin on the mound for CJ. Nice pickoff move to get the runner at first and clear the bases. But still in the top of the first, Nevada would get on the board. Eli Cheney sends it to right. Drake Ketterman scores from second. Tigers get 2 in the inning to go up 2-0. But here comes Carl Junction. Ball gets by the catcher in the bottom of the first. Drew Massey scores. Bulldogs get 2 to tie the game up. The same score, top of the 4th. Massey at the plate now, down the line. Bounces it off third base. That scores 2. Gives Carl Junction their first lead of the day. Shane Diskin stayed rolling on the mound. Strikeout there. Carl Junction pulls away from Nevada today 10-3. In the second and final game in Carthage of the night, hometown Tigers hit the field against Seneca. That game is just getting started with no score in the first. We'll have the latest from this one tonight at 10. The Colgan Panthers open CNC League play tonight against the Girard Trojans. Now, these 2 softball teams are both off to hot starts to begin the spring. Colgan is 4-0 coming into the night. Girard is 2-0. And game 1 of the doubleheader tonight just finished up a little bit ago with Girard handing the Panthers their first loss 5-0. We'll have highlights from game 1 and an update on game 2 tonight at 10. Finally, I wasn't going to not mention this, right? The 86th Masters Golf Tournament begins Thursday at Augusta, and there's a pretty good chance we'll see Tiger Woods out there. This is Woods today playing a practice round at Augusta. He says he'll be a, quote, game-time decision on Thursday. Woods is a little more than a year removed from a car crash in which he suffered multiple leg injuries that involved multiple surgeries. He's won the Masters 5 times and is a 15-time major champion. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Kenneth Ford served in the U.S. Army from 1943 to 45 and then in the Navy in 1953 and 54. The Southwest City, Missouri native was stationed in Italy and North Africa, and we are proud to salute Sergeant Kenneth Ford, a 4-state hero. Some more chances of rain ahead this week, Nick.
Yeah, we'll get going for the next few hours. Our next chance for rain, that is, continuing into tomorrow morning. Highs near 72. Then additional rain chances tomorrow night into Wednesday morning.
All right, Nick's forecasting expertise is weather. Yours is sports. What's going to happen in the KU game tonight?
Well, I don't want to like jinx them or anything, but I do think KU is going to go ahead and finish it off tonight. I think it'll be about, my official guess will say 81-71. I think they're going to score, both teams.
That's your official guess?
Yeah, put it in the
I think
books.
Single digits. Yeah. Those games are always closer than I think.
We'll find out soon enough. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is provided by the Wild